Just ask nicely!
I need your car, man.
Oh, GTA. I fucking love GTA, man. My always controversial GTA.
Publication of the video game Grand Theft Auto.
I fell in love with these games at first sight, since my first contact with them in the PS2 days. Playing GTA San Andreas back then, when I was just a little innocent kid with no worries about nothing, and I was just becoming introduced to the world of video games. Back then, open world games for me were a completely foreign concept. I remember my first impression of GTA was one of awe. I was so impressed by the idea of a game where you can just walk around the city with no limitations and do whatever you want. I used to imagine it was like a simulation of my own city, but giving free rein to my actions. Of course this meant breaking the law. And that's where the fun begins. You could do all sort of crazy shit. This, combined with the cheats recently gotten in the closest cyber coffee, of course, in which they didn't really sold coffee, but whatever. A little kid will end up unleashing chaos on Earth, shooting people, punching them and send them flying, stealing cars, just crashing them and throwing them into abyss, make them fly, fighting the cops, trying to get the most amount of stars, and the R3 missions, can't forget them. Press to toggle vigilant missions? What the fuck? Wait, I can be a cop while being chased by the cops? This shit is awesome! From being an ambulance driver to fuck! To a firefighter. Stop running! I'm trying to help! To being a taxi driver in the bohemian streets of the night. Enjoy yourself in a paradise where you can just drive all sorts of different vehicles from ground to air, even toy vehicles, and of course, even a jetpack, and whatever this is. Also, I can't ignore one of the greatest, controversial, and most iconic features of these games: the prostitutes. You could go in a car and pay them for their services, and if you didn't like it, well, you could always ask for a refund and get your money back. But if that wasn't enough to get you off, you could always go to the strip club. But I'ma be honest, this didn't drag my attention back then. I mean, the graphics weren't helping a lot either. And the graphics still don't help even in the remastered games, by the way. Well, that's disappointing. You know, it wasn't really until GTA 5 for me that... Holy shit! Anyways, even doing more normal stuff, you still have a lot of fun, like just driving around the beach without harming anybody, of course, and go for a swim after. You know what? Maybe not. You would also just roleplay stories in your head as long as your imagination would let you, of course. I remember I would just drive around the desert, listening to A Horse With No Name, rejecting society, feeling like a hermit. Also, who didn't got lost around the world in search of interesting stuff to do? No Easter eggs? Huh?
No te entendí ni verga, no sé inglés.
Or some crazy mystery that you see in YouTube, and then it turns out it was a fucking mod! And the radio. Oh, the radio. So many bangers. So many great songs. But wait, as a kid, there was something else that I didn't realize that I could do in these games. After my first times playing GTA San Andreas, I thought that the game only consisted in the previously mentioned. You know, an open world game where you just do crime and everything you want, but some secondary mission and some other extra stuff. And that was it. That was the game. Well, it turns out that if you follow the letters in the minimap, there is missions with objectives, different stuff to do, and a story with characters. What the fuck? I was mind blown. I didn't know because in GTA San Andreas you start the game in free mode, unlike it happens in the previous games. So I didn't have a clue. And well, after realizing that it is impossible to reach the letter N, I started to play the story, and oh boy, it was definitely a lot of fun.
Now where's the stupid bitch?
Here, cabrón!
Shit.
Who's the bitch now, eh?
Oh, baby.
Sooner I started playing the rest of GTA games, and my love for this game series started to grow more and more. Still haven't played the originals though. Maybe someday, yeah, I definitely will play them someday. Yeah, of course, yeah, definitely. Okay, so when I talk about the old GTA games, you know I mean the 3D games, okay? Okay. So yeah, playing GTA back then was really cool, I get it. Under the lens of nostalgia, everything is magic, but who cares? At this point, we all know what the real question is. Are these games worth playing today? Do they hold up decently? Should I play the remastered trilogy? Or just let this game stay as a pleasant memory? It is a good experience for the player that never played them before. Well, if you ask me, my answer is no. Nah, I'm kidding. I say yes. Well, it's complicated. Let's talk. So, the first big problem that you face trying to play one of the old GTA games is fixing the fucking game. At least talking from the original Steam versions, which I don't even know if are purchasable today. To make these games playable, you have to download patches to fix resolution, controls, game crashes, FPS problems, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to go deep in these problems because they are just the result of a poorly ported game with no sort of maintenance at all. And these problems, I believe, are not inherent to the actual game. They are no part of the game itself. And I want to talk about the game. Also, of course, if you play the definitive editions of these games, you don't have to deal with these problems. I think. Despite having a really disastrous launch, being a bug festival, these remasters today are pretty playable and do not present major issues like that. Plus, they offered a renewed face with modern graphics and a lot of new features that improve the gaming experience, like autosaves, a map for GTA 3. Yes, the original didn't have one, a GPS system, the improved weapon selection mechanic, and more. Still, despite the graphic and art style being disappointing to me personally, they do make the game more attractive and pleasant compared to the original versions, which are pretty old. Nah, who am I kidding? This shit looks like ass. Okay, but finally talking about the actual games. The major problem they have is the antiquated gameplay. The rusty mechanics become very noticeable as soon as you start to play. The movement is rough and could be sometimes counterintuitive. The control of the camera view doesn't feel really smooth. The shooting and the fighting mechanics, holy shit, they're ass. Shooting in these games could be pretty annoying, and the auto aim, it's not always helpful either. Plus, you don't have cover mechanics like in later games. All these things can make the games really difficult. And also, there is something about the way these games were made. You know, sometimes the reckless and unpredictable behaviors of NPCs, the GTA certified classics. I'm driving on an empty lane, but the dude in the right lane, with no reason at all, decides to change lane last second. Or you're driving fast and unwillingly crash into a cop during a mission, and meanwhile you're waiting for your companion to get into the car, and you're not paying that much attention, suddenly you get fucking busted. Or you crash into some random taxi, and out of nowhere, he follows you to hell just to crash you back. Or just when you're about to finish your mission, the car explodes. You should be careful driving through enemy's territory, let me tell you that. And I could still go on GTA only situations. The combination of all these mechanics and the way the games are designed, the composition of factors that affect the gameplay are going to lead you to have some unfair and painful, but funny and interesting moments. Most of these mechanics have not been really changed in the definitive editions, which is crazy, but under a wider look, these problems don't really undermine the greatness of these games. These things, despite being seen at first sight as negative, I believe they add to the magic of these games.
Oh, you gotta be kidding.
I mean, it's all about perspective. Of course, at first, movement and shooting could be annoying and weird, and especially difficult to deal in more advanced missions. But once accustomed, you can really start to see where the value of these games lies. In the beginning, I already talked about the arcade, fun, and monkey brain shit that you could do in these games, but still, there is more. I believe one of the best reasons to come back to these games, it is to witness the mockery of society of the time that the games happens in. These games present a satire of pop culture and American society. If you watch the GTA 6 trailer, I mean, of course you watch it. Everyone watched it. You'll easily see this society satire that I'm talking about. Thing is that they were already doing that since the old games, of course not as evident and detailed. This mockery is showcased in different ways. One of the clearest examples of this is the radio, that through talking shows and ads, you listen to satire of different matters. Like this lady complaining about how phones are going to be the downfall of mankind.
Chatterbox, hello, you're on the air.
Yes. I'd like to say something about these damn people on trains and buses in the city who yammer on and on into their cell phones. I'm really glad we get to hear about what you're having for dinner. What we should do is herd them up and put them on an island. I am the president of a group called Citizens Raging Against Phones.
Crap?
Exactly.
Your organization's called Crap. What kind of moron are you? You want to round people up for using a phone, but you're calling up on a phone to tell the world about it. I mean, how many people are there in this crap?
Citizens are raging against phones, Laszlo.
How many people?
There are 3 of us. It's hard organizing meetings without the phone, though. We've had to resort to carrier pigeons, and they keep disappearing.
What are you speaking to me on? What's that in your hand?
I am not the problem. You are, and you're perpetuating the downfall of mankind. Liberty City was great before phones ruined everything.
Liberty City was a church, a cow pasture, and 3 houses when the telephone was invented.
Liar!
You're the liar.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
What are you 3 years old?
Laszlo's a liar. Laszlo's a liar. I bet that isn't even your real name.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Stupid.
Nanny, nanny, boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo.
Oh, we're going to commercial.
Remember, GTA does not imitate reality. Reality imitates GTA. There are so many other examples in the radio of these games that I could use to illustrate this, but I think you get the point. But it wasn't the radio only. It was everything as a whole. The environment, the NPCs and their dialogues.
From hearing problems, I'll try again. Where's the goddamn money? Where's the goddamn stuff?
Some story characters and their lifestyles, the missions. Oh, the fucking missions. When it comes to the story, well, it turns out it's a lot of fun.
You got that.
Was that part of the, or was she talking to?
The protagonists, despite being different, they share a lot of qualities and struggles. At the beginning you start as a small shot doing missions, following orders, sometimes used as a puppet.
Make sure he never leaves the neighborhood, not even in a box. Get the fuck out of here.
And as the story progresses, you go climbing the criminal hierarchy to end up becoming a big fish with lots of property and money. The shit that you do in these missions varies a lot, from doing normal criminal stuff to more random, arcade and crazy stuff, which makes the games a lot more unpredictable and fun. I don't think that the forte of these stories is to seek a profound and complex writing. Despite borrowing a lot of inspiration from well-known criminal masterpieces with a serious plot and deep characters, GTA doesn't take itself so seriously. Even though I'm not denying that sometimes under the humor and parodying the story, we can find a well-written message, I believe that's not the main purpose of the game. A GTA story shines for its irreverent sense of humor that depicts a gangster parody, a satire of criminal life. You can see this represented throughout a lot of charismatic characters, with exaggerated characteristics and in crazy situations that you end up being involved with. So, should you play the old GTA games? Yes! I know the gameplay is antiquated and can be annoying, especially in certain missions. The game can be very frustrating. But I believe this, compared to other games, the old mechanics don't end up ruining the game at all. There is still a lot of greatness behind the rusty mechanics and old graphics. And to disqualify these games only for that, it is a mistake. Yes, you should play them.
Oh shit, here we go again.